On today's episode of Anime Afterthought, Tower of God, episode 2, 3 out of 400. Wow, this series feels like it's going a mile a minute, and it's just, it has no reservations, just throwing a shitload of information at you and expecting you to comprehend it all because, I had to watch this thing twice. So, now, before we get into the slew of information that they threw in today's episode, apparently, I misinterpreted the relationship between Bam and Rachel for what I assumed was going to be a romantic entanglement, something like the anime equivalent of Romeo and Juliet, two star-crossed lovers must reunite, blah, blah, blah. It's actually more like a surrogate mother and an orphan, or at least that's what you guys are telling me. But to be honest, can you really blame me? I mean, the two instances we were given about them actually interacting, yes, okay, maybe the hair tossle after the rescue, maybe that was throwing out some big sis, motherly-esque vibes, but are you honestly gonna sit there and tell me that the first instance we see of those two together, after Bam is running after Rachel and he's able to, what looks like pinning her down, they're out of breath, exhausted, they got the red face blushies going on, they start crying, it's like, can you really tell me that that conveyed a mother-son relationship? I mean, seriously, can you really blame me for misinterpreting that? Come on. But at least now I know better, and that's what I dig about the comment section of my videos. You guys will inform me when I'm wrong and, lead me down the path of righteousness when I become assuaged. So yeah, I greatly appreciate that because I would have been going into this series thinking like, oh yeah, they're lovers. And well, you know what, today episode, helped a little bit too, especially when he's having his conversation with Kun, and Bam flat out admits, oh, she's not my girlfriend, I belong to her, which is, a creepy-esque way of putting it, but seeing he was so straight-faced when he actually said that, I'm leading to believe, yeah, you guys, it's not really what I thought it was at first. But now that we got the correction out of the way, let's get into today's episode. Like I said, we're in the shit like lickety-split. One instance, we're chasing after this girl. The next instance, we are literally in the Tower of God, this mysterious place, being told we need to pass a series of tests if we want to see Rachel again, taking on, a giant fucking monster where the right answer is not fearing death itself. And after getting a OP legendary sword, we are transported to a field of wheat where it says, hey, there's 400 of you, and now we gotta cut it down to 200. What? Like, honestly, I truly believe you guys when you're telling me they're cutting out content. Well, we can't say they're cutting it out. Maybe they decided to rearrange it. Until we see all of season 1, I can't tell what's cut or what's just being, delayed. But it does feel like you guys are right when they're saying we're missing a lot of context of what's going on. But I am, I could see this series becoming pretty good. The characters are fucking amazing. Rak and Kun, absolutely fucking love them. Each one has a very unique personality. We have like almost the secretive, like Kun is hiding something. We obviously know that. I mean, Lororo tells us, be careful of him, as well as the ending of actually today's episode. He seems like a pretty secretive dude with his own, manipulations and schemes and plans going on. And it looks like Bam truly has caught his eye. He's trying to persuade him, becoming, an alliance of people, strong individuals who don't follow the tower's rules. Well, Rak, on the other hand, Rak Wraithraiser. What can I say about this individual? Straightforward and persistent, and I see a lot of comedic value coming from him in the future. Like, even in today's episode, some of the funniest parts was from him. I'm still questioning why he's calling everyone turtles. I don't know if that is a joke that's hopefully going to be explained, but it seems this hard-headed individual also has his eyes set on Bam. Not for an alliance, but for his prey. Before anything can really come about this interaction, this first test is over. 200 people have perished. Once again, Kun taking this opportunity to mock those who follow the tower's rule, willing to obey whatever. And I kind of get it. Like, 200 people literally just got fucking killed. Like, holy shit. But now it's like test 2, part 2. Find some teammates. And with a limited amount of time available, we see, everyone is starting to pair up with those who seemingly were enemies a few seconds earlier. Taking this opportunity, we see a lot of new characters like I mentioned before. And one that captivated my attention last episode, I'm glad they focused on this one, was the green lizard girl who had a sword with the same emblem as the Black March, whose name is Anak. Now, she was having a pretty badass battle with Hatsu, this guy who was dual-wielding katanas, as we had another, comedian watching. This Bruce Lee wannabe, this Shibisu character, had some pretty good comedic value to today's episode. But yeah, this little tussle between Lizard Girl and Hatsu, it got me excited. It got me, it was pretty well choreographed. Once again, it was cut too soon just because they had to go on to the next part of the test. Back to what I'm dubbing as our main trio of Bam, Kun, and Rak. Rak's thick-headedness is getting the better of him. Instead of forming of an alliance, he would rather keep hunting his prey. Bam takes this opportunity to try to dwindle down the time, saying, you know what, go ahead and hunt me. I don't know if he's trying to trick him or just, run down the clock to the last second. But of course, it gets to the final second, so they basically just force themselves to touch Rak, and ding, 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 that round's over. So everyone that completes this part of the test has passed, and they are actually taken. God, I'm gonna fucking butcher this. But if you're new to my channel because of this series, there's one thing that is always guaranteed. It's the mispronunciation. So everyone is transported to Ivankal's mothership. And this is where we get a bulk of what I'm considering valuable information. Once again, we still have another test. So these individuals have already been through a slew of tests, especially Bam, who I believe is the only one, that took on that giant fucking monster at the beginning to get to this point. And now we have another fucking test. So of course there's some kerfuffle going on. Like I said, once enemies, then had to be allies. So obviously some feelings got hurt and, some broken arms and other shit. But of course the administrator of the next test comes out and quashes any kind of misbehaving lickety-split because he is what is referred to as a ranker. Now, a ranker is someone who has reached the top of the tower, the place where the king of jihad resides. Of course, any kind of information going forward, feel free to correct me, without spoilers. And at this point, everyone is absolutely terrified of him. Bam doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and we'll soon learn why. Rak is just busy fucking chowing down on fucking candy bars and shit. Like, I told you, I'm assuming he is a very simple-minded, thick-headed individual, so we're gonna see a lot of this value coming from him, but you know what? I also see him being a badass, fighter too, so he's got both potential in action and comedy. But yes, this ranker is Leroro, and I'll probably just, speed that up, Leroro. Now, Leroro at this point is actually shocked that there are so many participants still left, so he decides to call the numbers down, giving us a glimpse of what is referred to as the power source of the tower, Shinsu. This watery type, I guess, would it be energy? Or he says it's the power of the tower, the tower power. It's responsible for giving them the ability to breathe, and it seems this dude has the ability to control said power, and he literally creates a seemingly impenetrable wall. Everyone is pushed back beyond this barrier made out of this Shinsu. And the next part of this test is, of the 3-man team, every person in your team must pass it. Of course, everyone is upset. Kun's just taking this opportunity, like, you know what, me and Rak is probably okay, but what about Bam? Well, lo and behold, the only individual that was not pushed back by this force was Bam. And to the dismay and shock of this ranker character, he has this inner thought of a monster has just arrived. Now, obviously, being able to call out the Black March, taking on the fear of death itself, just walking into a they're pushing Bam to be this, the pro tag. He's special in some way, but they're also leaving it to be very mysterious and try to hook you, like, oh, what is up with this Bam character? But Leroux says, you know what, you pass because luck plays a vital part in conquering the tower. And it seems, you know what, that was fucking lucky, or, I get the inkling that there's something else behind that. So as Leroux and Bam become the observers of said test, they take this opportunity to talk. You know what, hey, I bet you pick the first person that comes through this wall. I'll answer any questions of you, but if I do it, you have to answer my questions. So they both agree, and basically they admit to a tie when both the lizard girl and Hatsu come through right through it. But Leroux take this opportunity to be a good sport. You know what? Tying with the ranker is an achievement in itself. So go ahead and ask. And of course, even I saw this coming. Hey, have you seen Rachel? Nope. Okay. And we get a twofer. We get to not only learn what an irregular is, but we get to understand the structure of the tower more, which is very fascinating to me because the whole concept is just, it's interesting. So we learn that an irregulars are basically people that do not follow the rules of this tower. We learn that regulars are basically chosen by Head-On to, take part in this. They are chosen from other areas of the tower, and he kind of describes it. There's an outer area, which is a residential. There's the inner area where all this action is taking place, and then there is the middle area that basically connects the two areas. So there's three sections of this tower, and Bam goes on to ask, so it must mean everyone here is born in the tower. And LaRoe kind of laughs us off. He goes, of course, what else? So Bam thinks to himself it must be just me and Rachel are from another world. So it leads me to believe that maybe the people inside this tower don't know about the outside world, like a high ranker who has reached the top of the tower that seemingly possesses OP power. He questions when he brings up, the origins of where people live and die. And it's setting up a lot of good shit. So then Bam goes on to, still question about irregulars. Are they actually bad people? And LaRoe's not necessarily. It's just when they show up, they were so strong. And of course, the conversation is fucking interrupted by who? Yeah, Sniper dude from fucking earlier. Don't ask me how he unbent his fucking rifle. Once you bend a barrel, it's pretty much fucked. But yeah, he's back. He's all pissed off because he can't get past this Shinsu wall. And LaRoe is there to bestow mercy upon him. Yes, giving him a taste of what lies on the 30th floor. A constant stream of this energy or this element. Whatever it is considered. And it just basically is a torrent of power. And this guy, I wouldn't be surprised if he shit his britches. It shows that, the further we get up in this tower, shit's gonna get crazy. Fucking crazy. But of course, this is a great opportunity storytelling wise to show us that there is a distinction between, who we need to keep our eyes on. We're seeing, the heavy hitters. Like I said, Anak, Hatsu, we see Kun and Rak obviously, make their jump. The guy that was literally in a sleeping bag the whole time. Shibisu, forces his way, as well as the chick he made fun. Oh my god, that scene was hilarious. So it's definitely cutting down the numbers. Now, like I said, as soon as Kun and Rak make it through, Bam is excited to reunite with the people that obviously he's made quick friends with, but LaRoe takes this opportunity hey, do not get too close to Kun. Now, like I said, this makes me wonder if this guy, he comes off secretive, and he obviously he has his own motivations, especially ending out, with a little snippet of what's to come in another test right around the corner where he is called out by his full name, Kun Agiro Agnes. Woohoo, butcher number 2. Yeah, okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about today's aesthetics. The visuals, although I still have my concerns and my issues with that bumpy line art style, I will say that their composition and even more though the effects are legit. Some shots in today's episodes were fucking amazing. The little close-up on the battles during the first part of the test, the angles and dynamic composition of the battle, the little skirmish we see between Hatsu and Anak, especially the effect of the sword swing itself, everything really did feel very fluid. It didn't feel stiff or over elastic. It felt good. And then the actual effects themselves, fucking dug it. Like I said, the actual light effect of the sword swing, and then the Shinsu. If this is the power of the tower, I'm assuming we're gonna see a lot of it. And when we see the actual water animation, not to mention the torrent effect that he put on that dude, that was pretty fucking good looking. I have to admit. And of course, today's audio, they paired the music perfectly. When shit was getting down to it, when it needed a sound effect or when it needed a piece of music, they chose it perfectly. I really hope they can keep this up. Now, overall, I like where this series is headed. And the most interesting thing is the character design for me. There are some badass looking characters. They're throwing a lot of concepts at you. The regulars, irregulars, Shinsu. The tower in itself is still a fucking mystery. We have Head-On to worry about. They've said this King of Jihad several times, but it does feel like it's leaving out a lot of context. Like you said, it's leaving out certain information. We can't tell if it's cut 100% yet because they might have rearranged it. It does feel like the pacing is super fucking quick. Shit. The question is, am I hooked? Well, I have the rule of threes, and if you made it this far in the video, good for you. 3 chapters, 3 episodes, 3 hours. I do 3 chapters for a manga, 3 episodes for an anime, 3 hours for a video game. But I'm significantly able to call whether I'm hooked on this episode a little bit earlier. Yeah, I definitely think they've set up enough mysteries to hook me in to see where this shit's going. And especially in today's episode, that gave us a minuscule taste of the possible action that the series could have between Samurai Boy and Lizard Girl. Like, I could see some epic battles going forward. So with that being said, I cannot wait for future episodes.